We'll get started, and we're going to get started. Today, let's go ahead and start standing. And as you come to stand at the front of your mat, take a moment to set your feet. And you can always take your feet, especially when we're doing this initial grounding, you can always take them wider than your hips, especially if you have a tight low back or tight hips. You can always step a little wider or even considerably wider, your choice. I'm going to take a little wider stance this morning. So a little bend to your knees, fire up your feet, lift and spread your toes, and then push down with them. And then from here, open your palms up, you're turning them forward. Now, from your hips to your armpits, take a really big inhale and try to lengthen your sides. Think of your whole rib cage lifting. As you exhale, start to tone your low belly, giving yourself a little bit of support. Inhale, fill up again, letting your whole rib cage expand. Exhale, a little bit of tone. Close your eyes here. And now take a full deep breath that fills all the way from crown to tail, from tail to crown. Then connect palms together at your heart and take a full deep inhale to lengthen even more. Lengthen the back of your neck, lengthen up through your upper palate. And as you exhale, bow toward your heart. Then softly opening your eyes, release your hands down. Inhale, circle your arms up overhead. And exhale, bring hands to connect at your heart. Inhale, circle arms overhead, lift your gaze a little. Exhale, hands come to your heart. One more, inhale, circle. And exhale, release your hands to your heart. Now with your hands at your heart, press your palms together, let your elbows start to lift to about wrist height. Draw shoulder blades onto your back and push gently. Start to draw your hands down a little ways, but keep your shoulder blades on your back. Lengthen the back of your neck. Take a really big inhale and start to lift your ribs, your chest, your heart, little tiny back bend. Support that with your low belly pulling in. Then inhale, circle your arms wide and up, and exhale, hands to your heart. Good, okay. So now fingertips come to your shoulders. Lift your elbows up to shoulder height and draw shoulder blades onto your back. Snug them onto your back. Instead of trying to squeeze them together, think of pushing them onto your back. Inhale, lift your chest up high. Exhale, tone your low belly and your low ribs. Now, as you inhale this time, lift your elbows up just a little higher. Exhale, draw your shoulder blades more snugly onto your back. Good. On your next exhale, you're drawing your elbows in together to touch or to come toward touching. And inhale, open up. Exhale, elbows to touch. And inhale, open up. This time as you exhale, elbows to touch, resist with your shoulder blades. Try to keep them hugging onto your back. Then inhale, open up. So I don't know if you could tell that mine did not touch this time. As you exhale, elbows come in toward each other, but keep shoulder blades engaging. Inhale, open up. One more time. Exhale, shoulder blades engage. And inhale, open up. Release your arms down, give your shoulders a little roll back. A little side to side movement with your head and your neck. Good. So now one more shoulder opening exercise. Bend your right elbow straight out in front of you. So you have a 90-degree angle. You're going to hold on to your elbow with your left hand. So your left hand becomes your stabilizer. So you can hug your left elbow into your side. Pull from your right elbow into your shoulder. So draw shoulder blade onto your back. Keep your elbow steady. Make a fist with your right hand. And then imagine you're knocking on a window or a door on the right side of you. So you're keeping your elbow where it is, but you're working through stuck stuff through that external arm bone rotation. So every time you knock, you're rotating externally with your upper arm. So take a couple more this way. And then release your arms. Give them a little shake. Good. And then left elbow. And again, hold steady with your right hand. Plug in, draw your shoulder blade onto your back, and then start to knock, keeping your elbow steady where it is. As you knock, try not to move your wrist, but to find that rotation from your shoulder. Good, a couple more this way. And then release your arms, give it a shake. Feet walk into inner hip distance apart and parallel. Inhale, stretch arms overhead. Keep shoulder blades engaging onto your back. Exhale, bent knees, fold over your legs. Inhale, lengthen part way. And exhale, fold. From your fold, hands can come to blocks here if you want, or fingertips on the floor. You can even bring hands up to above your knees here if you'd like to for this initial fold. But take a moment in your fold, wherever that is, to start to pedal out with your knees a little bit. Bending one knee at a time, keeping your feet steady on the floor so your heels are not lifting. As you move here, you're allowing a little twist to happen from your hips, from your low back, and then a little stretch through your hamstrings. But now notice if you are a hyperextender, if your knee tends to push all the way back, I want you to keep a little micro bend, do a little controlling action there. Good, then back into center, plant your fingertips again on the floor or your block. Step your right foot back into your lunge. Right knee comes to the ground. Inhale, reach your arms up. And as you reach up, if your shoulders are super tight, then you might come to more of a Y here, or even cactus or gratitude, your choice. Find what feels the best to your body. Send your left hip crease back in space. As you settle deeper into your front knee, engage your low belly. Take one more big inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, hands come down to the front of your mat. You're setting your right hand on a block or the floor on the outside edge of your mat. Left hand to your knee as you start to take your twist to the left side. Both shoulder blades move onto your back. If it feels good, you can stretch your left arm to the sky, but keep your left hip moving back. That little action will turn your knee a little bit more toward your pinky toe edge. Exhaling, both hands come down to the front of your mat. Again, blocks if you want. Lift your back knee and step forward. Next, exhale, left foot steps back. Bring your left knee down to the ground, and it can always be on something here. Inhale, reach your arms. Again, find the variation with your arms that feels the best in your shoulders. So instead of having to look just like me, you can look like whatever feels good in your body. Take a big deep breath, send your right hip crease back in space. Settle a little deeper into your front knee and tone your belly. Big inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, hands come down to the front of your mat. And again, set your left hand on the edge of your mat. It can be on a block or the floor, your choice. As you turn your belly and your heart to the right side for your twist, put your shoulder blades on your back, snug them there. And then maybe stretch your right arm to the sky. Keep working back with your right hip. Big deep breath. As you exhale, both hands come down to the front of your mat. Inhale, step forward, coming into your forward fold. And exhale, deepen into your fold as much as your body needs, but keep that little micro bend. Start to tilt your sitting bones up. As you tilt your sitting bones up, even think about drawing your heels broad. This sometimes helps that sitting bone action for your sitting bones to be able to move broad. Inhale, lengthen part way. Bring your hands up above your knees. And now from this place, you're going to shift your hips over to the right side and then try to move your right hip back. Broad and to the right back corner of the room. Take a full big breath. And then shift your hips over to the left side and move your left hip broad and back. And as you do so, just notice if the sensation on one side is more intense than the other, or if they feel relatively even. Then come back into center with your hips. And as you exhale, fold over your legs. Plant your fingertips, you're stepping right foot back into your lunge. Turn and plant your back heel so that your foot is aimed forward. So your toes are aimed toward the front corner of your mat. Inhale, rise up for your warrior one, centering off your hips, drawing your left hip crease back and down. Lift your ribs, lift your heart up high, take a full big breath. And now hands come to your hips. You're going to pivot your back foot so that your foot is parallel to the back of your mat and settle deeper into your front knee for a warrior two. But keep your hands at your hips and press down. As you lift your chest and your heart up high, draw shoulder blades onto your back. Keep opening your front knee using your glute. Hands come behind you to clasp. Lift up and open through your chest. Press palms together, elbows bend and hug together. One more big breath. On your exhale, both hands come down to your blocks or the floor. Tuck your back toes and step forward. Next exhale, left foot steps back. Try to plant your back heel. And again, your angle is so that your heel is on the ground, but your toes are aimed toward the front corner of your mat. And then as you rise up here into your warrior one position, draw a little centering action with your hips. Right hip crease moves back and down. Left back thigh rotates back. Inner thigh back. Outer thigh rotates forward. Lift your chest, lift your heart, and then stretch up if that's in your practice. Big deep breath. Tone your low belly, tone your low ribs. Now hands come to your hips. And then turn your back foot so that your foot's parallel to the back of your mat. You'll have heel to heel or heel to arch alignment with your feet. Settle into your front knee and open it up. And then again, press into your hips and lift your chest, lift your heart, lengthen your sides, shoulders up and back, and then clasp your hands. Big inhale, expand your chest. Big exhale, push your palms together. Good, elbows hug toward each other. One more big breath. And on your exhale, both hands come down to the front of your mat. Tuck your back toes and step back this time. Downward facing dog. Take a full breath. Inhale, shift a little forward with your shoulders and rotate elbow pits forward. And then shift back. Hips lift, sitting bones lift. Then inhale, come all the way forward into your plank. Feel free to use your knees on the ground. Rotate elbow pits forward and push. Extend your chest. Next exhale, lower all the way down. Tops of shoulders stay lifting up and back. Maybe set your head down here if that feels the best to you. Or you can keep it lifted, your choice. But we're going to bend our knees and sway our legs side to side. It's allowing a little bit of release through the low back here. Then set your legs down, feet push into the floor, knees push into the floor, tone your low belly, then inhale, curl open as deeply as your body is ready for. Maybe that's to a high cobra, maybe that's somewhere in between, or maybe that's low, your choice. Take a big deep breath. Then exhale, push all the way into your child's pose. And from your child's pose, your head can rest down. Take a moment to shift through your hips, inch your fingertips further forward. Deep breath. And then inhale, rise to hands and knees. You have your choice. You can always use blocks here to support you, or shift your hips up and back to down dog, but step forward into your forward fold, whatever that looks like for you. Inhale and lengthen part way. Exhale and fold. Hands to hips, press your hips back, draw your shoulders up and back, inhale and rise. And now come on over to the wall. So we'll get into some of the stretches that we did a couple weeks ago to help work through some of the stuck stuff that might be there through the fronts or the backs of your shoulders. So we'll do 2 stretches, and both of them are really beneficial and helpful. One of them is kind of confusing. So as you bring your left shoulder against the wall, then lift your left arm right up against the wall, and then bend your left elbow. So now you have your left elbow and your left shoulder against the wall. From this place, you're going to put your left shoulder blade on your back. So from your left elbow onto your back, put your shoulder blade there. From there, turn in so you're facing your elbow just a little bit more. And then with the other hand, your right hand, start to push down. As you push down, you might feel a little stretch across the top of your shoulder. And in particular, this is a stretch specifically for that muscle that runs over the ridge of your shoulder blade, called your supraspinatus or supraspinatus, depending on who you learned your Latin from. Take a big deep breath. And just remember that you're only pushing to the point of stretch, not to pain. And now gently release, give your arm a little shake. And now we'll go right into the same side, but we're going to stretch into the front part of our shoulder. So I'm going to turn this way so you can see. So left hand still is going to make a tent-like formation with fingers. So spider fingers on the wall, elbow bends, and it lifts up to about shoulder height. You're facing the wall, and now start to walk your torso away. You're giving your pecs a little bit of a stretch here. Put your left shoulder blade on your back. Keep your left elbow elevated. Head is back. Take a full big breath. Maybe you walk just a teeny tiny bit further away. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're at your place. And then gently release and give it a shake. Okay, so right arm. Again, come right against the wall with your entire arm first. I find this is the easiest way to understand this one. So your shoulder is against the wall, your elbow, your hand. And then bend your elbow. So now you have a 90-degree angle with your arm. From your right elbow back, draw your shoulder blade onto your back. And then turn to face your elbow. Left hand comes to press. And as you press down, you're keeping shoulder blades on your back. Lift up and back through your neck, through your head. Take a big breath and just notice for yourself. So it's my other shoulder that I tore a tendon years ago. And so that one always tends to be a little tighter. This one feels a little bit more mobile. And this is a great stretch to kind of tune into that. And then go ahead and release. Okay, so now we're going to stretch the right side of our pecs. So facing the wall, right arm straight out, and spider fingers against the wall. Lift your elbow up to wrist height, shoulder height, and then you begin to turn away. And as you walk away, keep your fingertips pressing. Keep your right shoulder blade on your back. Lengthen and lift through the back of your neck. Full big breath. Maybe you walk just a little further away. And then gently release. Give your arms a shake. Coming back to the front of your mat. Take your hands behind to clasp. This is one of my other favorites. Really common in a lot of yoga classes, but this one I really like to get into our delts. So with your hands clasped, I'll turn sideways, although my jacket is black, so you might not be able to see. So turn sideways. Elbows bent, palms press in toward each other, then lift shoulders up and back. Shoulder blades are hugging. Elbows hug toward each other, but they stay bent. From here, you're pressing palms, but then resisting. Try to pull them apart, but don't let it happen. You might feel that your delts fire up a little bit. Your delts, your deltoids, and your supraspinatus are actually meant to help each other. So if they both stretch, then they have more of a chance of working. So now maybe pull your hands a little bit away from your back, but keep elbows bent, keep palms pressing and pulling away. Good, gently release and shake out your arms. Inhale, stretch up overhead. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale and lengthen part way. Exhale and fold. Plant hands, step all the way back, downward facing dog pose. Take a full big breath. And then lower all the way down to your knees, and you're gonna walk your knees back and lower onto your belly. And from here, we're gonna take more of a shoulder stretching twist. You can also add some hips into this. This is fondly called arm pigeon. I finally found a name for it from a fellow yoga teacher. So left arm out to the side, palm is down. And as we take this, just be mindful of the tendency to want to turn your arm around and aim your shoulder down. We want our shoulder to be up and back. So instead of turning your arm, you might change the angle so that your arm is more toward your body. But with your right hand helping you push, turn your body to the right side. And then maybe set your head down. It can always come down onto a block or a pillow here. If you want, you can add the hips to this of lifting your top leg, bending your knee and stepping your foot to the other side. If that's too intense, then just stack your legs again. That's okay. Take a big deep breath here. As you create a little tone through your low belly and your low ribs, you might decide to walk your foot a little further away from you or walk it in a little bit more to change the sensation. Take one more really big breath. And then gently shift all the way back around. And then right arm out to the right side, palm is down. Left hand underneath your shoulder and start to turn to the left side. And again, if it's in your practice, you can set your head down. You can pick your top leg up if you want to and step it behind you. Ideally, if you do this, your foot is entirely on the floor and your knee is aimed up. Engage your low belly and your low ribs to support yourself here. Take a big deep breath. And then gently unwind. Use your hands underneath your shoulders to push all the way back. Hips to heels, take a child's pose. And then gently work your way up to your seat. And you're gonna grab whatever you're using for a pillow or bolster. And we'll do a little bit more gut compression so that we can get a little bit more into that digestive health and firing up of the digestive fires. So right at the front of your mat with some space for your shoulders and your head on the other side. You can even make sure you have a block handy for you. But you're gonna lay over your pillow or bolster so that maybe it comes down onto your thighs, but ideally you've got your belly on it. And then from this place, hopefully you can see, I'm gonna walk my knees out wide and bend them. So it's like I have a little frog position with my legs. My toes are aimed outward. And then my hands get to come down right in front of me and my head gets to rest down on my hands or on a block. And then take some really big breaths, filling out your belly into your pillow or bolster. And as you fill out your belly, it expands down, and from that press, it naturally expands your low back. So see what that feels like in your body. I find in some bodies, there's a lot of movement there from the expansion of the belly. So you can see the low back move. And then in some bodies, the low back is a little bit more restricted and it doesn't move as much. So there's no right or wrong answer. Just notice how it feels for you. Make your breath slow and steady. Two more deep breaths right here. And then use your hands to support you to push yourself up to your seat. You can set your bolster aside, you can set your block aside and come all the way down onto your back. And from your back, pull your knees up close to your chest and rock. And then your choice, you can take a happy baby pose or you could take some windshield wipers. So you're either opening your knees up wide and holding on to your legs or your feet to rock a little side to side, or you're setting footprints on the ground, taking them wider than your mat and dropping knees side to side. So you decide which would feel the best to your body. And then begin to set yourself up into a really comfortable place for Shavasana. So feel free to add that pillow or bolster underneath your knees. Feel free to take a blanket over you to add a little more grounding. Just tune into what you need in your body. Full deep breaths. Begin to take a deeper breath. Gently add a little movement into fingers and into toes. As you're ready to, bend your knees and make your way over to your side. Press down into the ground for support and bring yourself back up to your seat. Take one hand to your heart and then take peace fingers or your spider fingers to connect to the ground beside you. And with your eyes closed, take a full breath, feeling the contact with the ground, feeling the lift of your heart space. Have a very peaceful, very beautiful rest of your day. Namaste. Thanks, everybody.